My name's Jason Williamson. I'm from Sleaford Mods, and these are records in my life. No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
Where are you based out of right now?
Nottingham, England. Yes, the Mecca.
Well, tell us about this show is about you, so tell us about your forthcoming release, about your latest. Give us a bit of the skinny on that.
All that glue, yeah. It's well, we wanted to put something together for a number of reasons. We were aware that we'd done a body of work that is quite vast. There's stuff on there that has been overlooked by people. Stuff that came out on limited 7 inches 3 or 4 years ago, you can't get any more. The only way you can listen to them is to go on YouTube, which obviously is not ideal. You know, we're quite a big band now. So what we thought we'd do was get all of these tracks onto an album, along with the timeline of releases that we thought best represented us, because we thought we were due now for a little bit of a package to kind of also introduce to people that weren't really aware of us. You know, we're not massively famous, we're not internationally renowned. You know, people are still discovering us. So we thought we'd get a little package together, an introductory thing, especially for people from your country, you know, from the States, in Australia as well. You know, it's a little bit of a go-to if you've not heard us. We didn't want to do a greatest hits because we haven't had a lot of greatest hits. But, you know, we've done a lot of songs that people are aware of. And so we wanted to do a kind of retrospective, you know, something that we felt best represented what we've done since 2013 up until the present.
And there's been a lot of material, but what's one of the tracks that you, from these B-sides and these collections, what's one of the songs that first gave you this idea? You're like, damn, I love this song. I'm really proud of this one. What would be one of your favorites that you guys are?
Most of them we put on there, you know. It wasn't one single thing that launched it. It was just the fact that it was becoming obvious that we needed to do a story so far, or something that, you know, because Sleaford Mods isn't just about one song. It's not about a period in the band's time. You know, we're still writing great stuff. It's still vibrant. It's ongoing. You know, it hasn't peaked. So it's like we just wanted to get something together that was like an information booklet. You know what I mean?
Sure. What about the title? What's the inspiration behind the title?
All That Glue is the first song me and Andrew wrote, which you'll be able to get on the flexi disc if you buy the gold version of it.
I like the way you say that. It's fantastic.
So you better buy the gold version.
I have plans. Believe me, I plan to do it. Thanks so much for being on Records in My Life. The show is about you and the records that have inspired you and your music. What record would you say, if there was a Craigslist or that brought you guys together? The one record.
We didn't really. I met Andrew at a gig. I was supporting a noise artist. I forgot his name now. A guy from Los Angeles. I was doing a lot of those support slots around 2011, and you know, he was playing this remix of Careless Whisper by George Michael. It sounded fucking horrible. It sounded horrible. I was outside having a cigarette and I thought, what is this? So I went up to him and said, who's this? And he goes, oh, it's me.
That's fantastic. Oh, it's me.
Yeah, I went, oh. He goes, but well, it's George Michael, and I've remixed it, but it's my remix. I went, oh, oh, right, do you want to get together? And I think he looked at me a bit odd, like, all right, whatever. And yeah, and that's how it started, really.
If there was one record to start for my son, I'm building him a record collection. He's he's 4.5. He really loves music. One or two albums. You know, I gave him, I don't know what albums cost in the UK now. What two would you suggest to start his collection with?
I'd give him Never Mind the Bollocks, his Sex Pistols for a start, and I would probably give him Enter the 36 Wu-Tang Chambers. But then, you know, if you got me thinking about it, anything by Miles Davis, you know, Gil Evans period, like early 50s, you know, fucking hell. I mean, John Coltrane. I mean, where'd you start?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think really for things, they wouldn't be very unsettling to the ear probably if when my son grows up. He's exactly the same age. When he grows up, will things like the Sex Pistols and Wu-Tang Clan seem as urgent as they did when they were released? Probably not. But at the same time, they may well do, you know.
Let's jump to the modern day. What album are you listening to these days? New artist?
I'm listening to an artist in England called Billy No Mates, who is about to release her debut album entitled Billy No Mates. It's brilliant. It's like it's a little bit like us, but it's not. It's a bit like it's post-punk. It's soul. It's like 80s soul to me. She sounds like an 80s. It's weird. She sounds like I don't know. She sounds a bit like early Madonna mixed in with, you know, any one of Giselle, you know, the 80s R&B singer. It's weird, it's bizarre. I'm listening to that predominantly. Other than that, not a lot really. Aldous Harding I discovered whilst on tour in New Zealand. She's really good. Really, really soothing. It is. I mean, she'd probably laugh at that, but I think it's brilliant. You know.
I think she's a label mate or
I think she's on a. I think she. What's she on?
Is it not rough 4AD or Rough Trade? Your family.
Isn't it? 4AD, I think.
What about in a live? What album would you like to hear live in its entirety if you had the chance?
Probably Sketches of Spain by Miles Davis. How about that? Something like that. I'm not so hot on, you know, watching bands. I'm just not. Yeah, something like that probably. Something historic. I don't know, James Brown, there it is, full album.
Well, that would be fun. That would be fantastic to.
Yeah, I mean, it's like listening to an engine, isn't it? It's like watching an engine. It would be, I imagine. Everything would be just pristine. Yeah, something.
Well, especially started to talk over you there, especially with James Brown, because it was like, you know, if you're not cutting it live, you're off the tour. You're not getting paid.
Yeah, you're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just in itself. You would imagine, yeah, people like that rule the world, don't they? Really, you know.
Thank you so much for being on the show. A couple of quick more questions we'd like to ask our artist. If you could have a cup of coffee or a pint, glass of wine with any musician, live or dead, who would it be?
I don't think I'd like to sit with anybody. I met Iggy Pop, and it was too much. It really was too much because he was just totally down to earth, and he was more interested in you having to say stuff. You would never think he'd lived the life like he had. And, you know, it was almost like he was just a fan of music. He was like this bloke had walked in the room who was a big fan of your band. And, you know, he was a big fan of punk. Never would have known who he was. And, you know, that really, really did. It didn't cut me down, but it was like, that's how it should be. That's how you're supposed to be, you know.
Sure.
But I don't know. I've not really got any. I go out of my way to avoid people. You know what I mean? If I'm in the vicinity of people, don't want to meet them. I don't want
So,
to.
That's a great answer to the question. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Interesting. Imagine talking to Elvis Presley about his job as a truck driver, you know.
Those are the stories, right? That inspire guys to, you know, their lives around like you guys. I mean,
Exactly. I mean, you just can't imagine him driving a lorry. What was it? Some magazine. I think there was a compilation came out a while back, and the review was "Lorry driver invents rock and roll."
I love that. Quite,
it's a quite feasible, isn't it? I mean, it's quite
Yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely.
so,
sure. And we have a couple of fun questions we like to ask all our guests. Thank you again for being on Records in My Life. Weed, wine, or water to listen to your preference to listen to your favorites album or to write? Which one would you choose?
Oh, water. Yeah, yeah. I don't do wine or weed. I've been sober for like 5 years, so fuck that.
That's a good answer.
Actually, you should have put coffee in there. Yeah, I like.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Growing up, what is the record of your? Would you consider the record of your generation?
The record of my generation would be Stone Roses debut album. That would be the record of my generation, I think.
And finally, we like to ask for some advice or words of wisdom for your audience and our audience.
Yes, yeah. Just I don't know. You need to tune yourself up every day. You need to stay in tune. Don't become a wanker. Too many of those about. Don't become a wanker.
Fantastic.
Hi, I'm Mark Henning, the other half of Records in My Life. Love it that you made it to the end of the video. Please leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up, and subscribe. If you really dug the show, we'd love it if you'd consider supporting us over at patreon.com/RIMLTV. Cheers and see you next week.